this guy.
You need to come to church with me and find yourself a good woman there.
Oh, that's Vanessa. She goes to Bible study every week with my wife.
Adrian Bilo, Jeff Ja Rule Atkins, and Stephen Bowman. I'm in love with the church girl.
Chevonne O'Shaughnessy, I have that correct?
O'Shaughnessy, yes.
O'Shaughnessy, okay.
O'Shaughnessy, yes.
And you're a Christian filmmaker?
I'm a Catholic, but I am a Christian. I try to promote movies with good moral values.
Yes.
Good moral values. When I first started that kind of label, we had in the international market, we were the first ones with the PureFlix titles.
Yeah.
So when I had Mission Pictures, we had 75 really strong faith-based movies.
Oh, that's a lot.
And it was a lot. It was a lot. And it really taught me the market.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say that, my first movie going into this before the PureFlix, I had done 150 titles beforehand, and I was the queen of action. Things are crash, boom, bam. I mean, you want to talk about stunts? We had double cars flipping, doing all this stuff. We're an independent, I wasn't a major studio, but all the stunt guys are running to us to do their stunts. My dialogue list was very small because it was mainly racing, chasing, and stunts.
Yeah. So
And
action.
then all action. Yes, we were the worldwide action. And all of a sudden the market started to change, and the video stores were not taking that much because the how-to became very important on the shelf space, and the reality shows started taking up spots. So the video stores that used to give us a lot of units were not doing that much. So, and HBO used to take our movies and they went into series. So we made 4 movies back in 1999, before the strike, the original strike back then. And
Yeah.
we thought we were going to have only one half title. So we were making double the titles all at one time. And we were spending more thinking that the strike was going to go on forever, but we would have titles.
Yeah.
Well, the strike didn't go on forever, but reality came into play. And the $1 we used to put in, we used to make $3 to $4 automatically. Now we didn't almost get the $1 back.
Yeah.
So me and my partner were arguing together, and instead of going to drinking, what some people did, I went to a Bible study school class. I met some people in the Bible study, a women group. And as I said, I was raised Catholic, so we don't read really much the Bible. So they would say to me, go to John's, whatever. And I would say, okay, do I go right or do I go left? Where do I go here? So they were helping me out. And one of the girls in the Bible study class, called Cindy Bond, had just finished an animation called The 10 Commandments. And the voices were Christian Slater, Alpha Molino, Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
She had the domestic, but she didn't have foreign. And she goes, Chevonne, will you please sell my movie? And I'm looking going, no, I don't do these type of movies. I don't do animation for starters. And this is a Bible study. As I said, I do action. I am queen of action. Oh, please, you help me sell it. I trust you. I've had bad experiences. And I said, okay, let me go talk to my partner. So I went to my partner, and I'm saying, and he replies the same thing to me, Chevonne, we don't do this type of movie. What are we doing? And I'm like, well, we're at the markets already. What difference could it make? We put up a poster, and we can put the pictures of Christian Slater, Alpha Molino, Ben Kingsley. It's not going to hurt us. So let's see how we do, right? So I took on this movie. I ended up selling the world, except one territory. And the funny part was, I thought it was going to be my first territory.
Yeah.
Which one do you think it was?
The Middle East?
No, I sold turkey for Ramadan. They all believe in the Old Testament. It was Israel.
Oh, okay.
Israel. And you know what they said to me? We already know the story. Yeah, but in a way, they didn't want a Christian girl or Catholic girl telling them their story. They
Yeah.
wanted a Jewish person to tell their story. So,
Yeah.
but everywhere else, I mean, I sold China, I sold India, I did theatrical, and as I said, in Turkey and the Middle East, we had going out because Muhammad did the steps and saw Jesus up there and all saw the prophet.
Yeah.
So they were thrilled with the movie. And I saw this movement of wanting something other than was out there.
Yeah.
And it was at the same time also that I saw, and I was a working mom by myself with a child, and I had left her in front of the TV at
Yeah.
9 and 10 years old, thinking that she's watching Disney and Disney's great. And I grew up with Disney, it's wonderful. And then all of a sudden I sit down with her and I'm like, what? These are the morals they're instilling in my child. So that's when I said, if I'm going to make a change, I want to make a change toward a different word or a world of supporting people and their values, moral
Yeah.
values more than anything else.
Okay. Because I was gonna ask,
Okay.
how did American cinema start, but you just gave a great intro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right after you decided to do that, how did you balance trying to get commercial success with maintaining the integrity and promoting the wholesome content that you wanted to be seen out there?
Well, as I said, we first only had 10 commandments.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking to myself, well, thinking that I need at least 4 or 6 a year, because when you go to the markets, the buyers want to come in and they want to make sure that they
Yeah.
have. So I said, Cindy, that was one movie and it was great, but we should form a company where we have just that type of movies.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine said, Chevonne, go get as many as you can so that you kind of block that. So it was before Pureflix even was Pureflix in the international market. So we got a lot of titles from then and a lot of producers.
Yeah.
Like Letters to God was one of our first ones, with David Dixon. We
Yeah.
had To Save a Life, and we had 7 Days in Utopia. We have like Dandelion. We have October Baby from the Irwin Brothers. You know, they didn't have really an outlet in the international market at that time yet.
Yeah.
So we started it, and I was lucky enough to get a time slot in South Africa on ETV. We had a mission night. It was always on Sundays at 8 o'clock at night. And Mexico also gave us a time slot on Televisa on the new channel that they had. And,
Yeah.
at that time, Mexico was all horror movies. And then these two girls took a chance and took out 52 of our titles. So they'd have one a week.
Oh, every week. Yeah.
So, yeah, every week. So we
Yeah.
had one there. But the only thing is, I found when we had it so Christiany, when it
Yeah.
was so much, it became hard to really go wider. Became limited to where you could go.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do was, like, and I was talking to Pureflix, when you're making a new movie, instead of make it the same scene, make it everything the same, but where the guy goes to speak to a minister or something like that, we can have that same scene with a friend,
Yeah.
And as long as you don't open the Bible and start preaching quotes from it, it's okay to pray and it's okay to do with God, but it's when you open and quote from there that the channels such as France, Italy, Spain won't take it, because now you're promoting one religion over another. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we decided to, instead of converting one or the other, we want to just be seed planters so that other people could make the decision and we'd get bigger audience,
Yeah. Yeah.
but still
So,
have good moral issues on it.
so do you feel there's been changes in today's market with the rise of the streaming platforms to the time that you started?
I think there is.
Yeah.
But I think um, it's just like anything else. You have to know how to get to your clients.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough when we started it that we were really into the mom and pops. We were into the preacher's kids,
Yeah.
and we really developed that market knowing that they could continually get that kind of product.
Okay. So you believe there's a strong audience that is drawn to this type of content because of the oversaturation of certain movies in Hollywood already?
Yeah, I think during COVID, I think it was even more, especially on the streaming platforms. I think
This
during the
world,
streaming,
world
people
was,
were home. They
yeah,
had grandma, they had the family members, they had this, and they couldn't be saying, "Okay, cover your eyes because now this is going to happen."
yeah.
They wanted to be able to watch a movie together without and enjoy it without having that.
So I've interviewed a few people in the industry, and they've
Mhm.
had different ideas about the impact of AI. Some believe
Okay.
that it's positive because it helps creators with a tool to increase their productivity, but then there's some that feel that AI might eventually take away jobs. What is your thoughts on the whole AI?
Well, as I said, I was just at the Disney screenings when we started. We
Yeah,
were talking about AI, and I mean, the industry keeps changing all the time. I've been doing this for 35 years. I mean, first was the VHSs,
yeah,
and I used to carry around the VHSs. Then I went to the DVD. Or no, first I went to laser discs, and then DVDs, then CDs. Things are always changing now. So you have to change with the market. However, I think with AI, some things are going to be really incredible. Like right now, I can talk to ChatGPT and set up an outline. Now, I cannot write a full script because they won't, and I can't copyright it on ChatGPT,
yeah,
but I can develop it and really make it better by using other people's voices to help me out with ideas.
yeah,
And then I give it to a writer to finish it off. But
yeah,
creating, I think also dubbing. Right now, if I go to dub a film in French, it costs me $25,000 to dub a feature film. That's a lot of money.
yeah.
And France isn't really buying stuff. So if we can get the dubbing costs down, so there'll be more product for people to decide from.
Yeah.
I think it's just changing everything. Right now, I'm using AI in my office to also do logistics because we have 1,000 hours. And that means putting it up on the platforms. I have to do Tubi, I have to do Pluto, I have to do this, and I have different languages. I have English, I have Spanish, I have Portuguese. So it's tagging the formulas through AI in our not QuickBooks. What's the name of a program we use? But it talks with ChatGPT. So
Yeah.
putting the platforms up is a lot easier than just having mechanics of bringing people in here and d. So
Yes. So I never thought of that side of it. Everyone just thinks of like things such as I see a new thing with the AI being used is modern songs, but used with 1960s artists or
mhm.
same kind of voice as they would have it in 1960s. And then they would use the modern artist's face, but then somehow the AI would transform it to how the person would look in the 60s, 70s.
Oh, how cute!
Yeah,
Oh, that's cute.
latest thing I've seen. So
Oh, I
some
like
some
that.
people like it, and some people's like, well, some artists are saying, are they going to replace artists if they could still do the same kind of thing? But everyone says the human emotion is not there. So that there's
Not
always
there yet.
yeah,
It's not. But I'm excited about it. Let me put it that way. I took a
yeah,
6 months class. I made everybody in my office do it because I think if we're not there, and it's again, I'm
yeah,
an independent. I'm not the studios, so I got to be the latest of
yeah.
whatever I can get in to make myself look a little different.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So could you discuss a few of the Christian films you produce, what makes them connect with the audiences?
Well, as I said, I was trying to go to the channels because I do video, but the market started to change that television was more king. And if you weren't in the channels, you weren't getting the big monies that we needed because the market started to evolve. And even though I had done 150 titles of action, the US channels considered me a foreign company, even though I made them in the United States. They're like, oh, no, 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 you're that foreign company. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm American and I'm here and we make movies here. So they wouldn't get us in. They wouldn't let us in. Let me put it that way. People
Yeah,
try to close the doors on you. So I
yeah,
remember my first time going to Hallmark, and I had a great movie that I thought was going to work perfect for them.
yeah,
And they look at me and they go, okay, what are you bringing to my channel that's new? And I'm looking at them going, me, I'm just the producer or distributor. Why do I have to bring something to you? Well, we have other people making movies. So why am I going to consider your movie if you're not bringing something new to me?
yeah,
And I'm walking out going, huh? I was just like in total shock. I'm like, me? And that's when I decided to go towards books.
yeah.
Okay. And I found a series of books that were called from Guidepost. Now, I don't know if you know Guidepost. Guidepost is a big, kind of like Christian Reader's Digest. They do little newsletters out to like 6 million people a year, but they also do books.
You have readership.
And they had a series of books called Love Find You. Okay.
Yeah,
And the nice thing was it was female. There weren't too many characters. I didn't have to be going to too many locations. It was very contained, very romancy, but Christian. Okay. Now, there's another problem when you go to books because the book is minimum 300 and some pages. But when you're doing a script, you're about 95 pages because
oh,
a page a minute.
yeah,
So then I'm taking 200 pages out of a script
oh, that's always
from what
short.
the book is. So
Yeah,
then you got to decide what you're going to do. So we ended up going to Hallmark back again. And
yeah,
look, I'm prepared now. I got my little sheet, and I'm so excited because I got Guidepost books, and they have 6 million news followers, and they're this, and I go check, check. I got it. I got this one, and they still said no to me. They still
yeah,
said no.
oh,
But I was lucky enough. Up TV. I don't know if you had heard of Up TV.
yeah, with the up TV.
Up TV was the gospel music channel that ended up turning to Up TV.
Yeah,
So one of the guys who was now running Up TV knew us from our action movies. So we
oh,
told him about the series and it
yeah,
had the gospel and the newsletters. So they gave us a chance. They gave us our first one. Okay. And it was
yeah,
called Love Find You in Sugar Creek. And
oh,
we make the movie, and we have Kelly McGillis, who was now our first is an Amish movie, our first
yeah,
Amish movie after Witness. We got the social media between the bookstores and the moms and everything. But Up TV's channel was mainly 50 and above. That's where their audience
yeah.
was.
But maybe
And then all of a
you
sudden,
couldn't-
yeah, for the viewers were that. And all of a sudden, as we're flying out to a trip, the girl at Up TV calls us and they said, oh, we just had a big meeting here at Up TV. And we decided we don't want to target the 50-year-olds anymore. We're going to try to get the 25 to 35-year-olds
that demographic. Yeah,
demographic. And I'm looking at myself, what? What? I mean, my books, La Find You, are really set for 50 and above. And
yeah,
now I have to get 25 to 35-year-olds. And if I don't do well, I'm not going to get another one. Right, Kevin?
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? So I'm sitting on the plane, panicking because I said, this is just going to be one now. I'm never going to do another one. And then all of a sudden it came to me. God guided me and said, hey, what's the name of your movie? And I said, it's Love Finds You. And they kind of said to me, well, isn't that dating? Isn't that finding love? why don't you hit all the dating sites? So
Yeah.
at that time, I did Match.com. You could buy sleeves to go around websites.
Yeah.
So when people went on Match.com, they saw the things for my movie.
Yeah.
I did Christian Mingle. I did Match.com, JDate, any kind of religion didn't make a difference. I had my sleeves
Right.
on around the TV.
Yeah.
So, and the other stuff we had done. So all of a sudden, we call up the owners of the TV before it airs and we say, we're so excited. We think we're going to do 2 million views. We have so many people responding to this. And the owner kind of chuckles at me. He goes,
Yeah.
Chevonne, let me give you the thing of our channel. Our highest rated movie to date has been Passion of the Christ on Easter. And that has only made 700,000 views. Do you really think you're going to beat Jesus? Or what he was saying to me.
Yeah.
So he aired. Guess how many I did?
The same million that you projected?
No, I made 7.4. 7.4 million
Oh,
people.
7.4 million.
Million people watched it.
Oh, wow.
It was great. It was amazing. Did they
Yeah.
pay me more? No, same amount. Everybody's like, well, did they give you more money? I'm like, no, they didn't give me any more money, but we got the views.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they thought it was an anomaly. They thought it was, oh, it's only one time. It's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
And then I made Love, Find You, and Charm. We did 7.4 million. And then we did Love, Find You, and Valentine, and we did 7.7 million.
Yeah.
So once you know how to get to the Christian market and you know how to get to the younger ones, oh, and we did 1.5 million in that demographic of 25 to 35-year-olds too, which
Yeah,
was a new thing for them.
yeah, that's pretty good. Good in that
Yeah.
prime target.
So as a whole, we got to be producers, we got to be marketers, we got to be
Yeah.
doing everything when we're making a movie now today. We got to do it all for
Yeah. So I see you made some changes to the cast of Love Finds You and Sisters and
Yes.
included a Latin cast. Was that to
Yes.
increase over abroad in Spain and places like that?
It was more to diversify. It
Yeah.
was to diversify. I had done another one called A Royal Surprise, which was black cast in South Africa. So now we have a lot more black content. And I was saying that a lot of black content were not represented. And I can tell you even that I've been doing this for 35 years. When it came to black content, they used to just push it aside.
Yeah.
So I knew that with the shows of Empire, I knew with the shows of Grey's Anatomy from the studios,
Yeah.
that the buyers would start considering it. So that's when I started getting a whole bunch of
Yeah.
black content for the international market. And were they thrilled at the beginning? No, but slowly, and especially if you're going to go with, putting them in up positions, like the one we did. The
Yeah.
girl finds out she's dating a prince and she gets to meet the king and the queen. So what girl would not want to be dating a prince?
Yeah.
So we try to put them up in really high positions. And the same thing with sisters. We took Spanish cast, we put them as lawyers, we put them as, very wealthy, up-to-do, instead of the quote.
Well, that's good. You still kept it to what you originally planned, that you wanted to see positive content out there, uplifted. And
Yes.
to go into the different races is pretty good for representation, to get the different type of audiences.
Yeah, and they were thrilled. The Latins all were excited because they don't get a chance to make one in English. And they made this in English, which gave them a chance to be and not maids or whatever. So they were very excited.
So what has been your approach to navigating federal regulations and international boundaries while doing the film distribution?
Such as what? Real regulations.
Um,
mean,
is there any like stop gaps that you encounter that you try to overcome?
well, like as I said, for the longest time, when we would try to even bring a black film into the market, they wouldn't take it. Now they're taking them. I mean, I've got a whole bunch in Latin America right now, which would never take them before. I have even when I took the first 14 titles to South Africa,
Yeah.
all my big distributors said no to me on the titles.
Yeah.
And then one small distributor took the risk and put out and went theatrical with them. And he did like on one title, he didn't even go that big, did $200,000 in theatrical and just small lessons. And then all of a sudden, now they come running back to me like, oh, do you have more? Do you have more? And I'm like, no. Wait a minute. That small distributor gets them first.
Yeah.
And that's when we decided also to make movies in South Africa to get more. As for starters, was a tax credit that you had down there, and which was 45%. And then the production, you could get something really well done.
So was this
and the TV?
Was this around the same time of Black Panther, the movie?
Well, it was called A Royal Surprise. It was a little bit afterwards. It was about a year after. Yeah, it was A Royal Surprise.
I know surprised with the amount of money that movie made. So that I know that might have opened up some things for you too.
100%. Yeah. And as I said, Empire, the TV series Empire, Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those actors became now more facials that the majors had already spent money on. They've already promoted them. They've already gone out with them, that they would be behind it to support it.
So how do you see the role of women in film production and distribution evolving in the next few years? Or is it in a good position right now?
I think I think the nice thing about it is TV is still number one. I mean, yes, theatrical is great, but as a whole, theatrical is more of a risk. If you're doing television, it's more, you don't have to pay such huge amounts and you can get it out. And women at the end of the day are controlling the remote control in the evening of the houses. So you're seeing females carrying guns around, solving the masters or being the brilliant ones now instead of the male. And sometimes my partner looks at me and goes, Chevonne, you all are doing everything now. Why don't you let us men sometimes come back in here and do some things like we're supposed to? So, but I think it's a better time for Black, Chinese women. Yeah. I think there's so many more opportunities because even countries that would not even speak to me before, that would say, please, I don't want to talk to a woman. And I mean, I can say that to Japan. Japan men would say, no. Yeah. I can't talk to you. Or Korea, the same thing. They say, I need to speak to a man. I can't talk to you. Now it's okay. Now everybody talks.
So also checked out your YouTube channel and it's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
What have been some of your strategies you found in being effective in growing the YouTube audience that you have?
Well, when I first started the YouTube channel and they kept on telling me how much content I had to have on it, I was like almost panicking. My heart was going, I don't know if I'm going to be able to supply that kind of content. And the second thing is, my office is not big. So I was like, how am I going to get the bandwidth to make sure that we can post every day to Facebook, to TikTok and Twitter, because all my people were busy on other stuff. So what I did is I outsourced it. Yeah. I interviewed companies in India, 2 companies. I interviewed a company in Argentina, and I interviewed a company in England that would post for me every day. So I decided the company in England, so he ended up doing it. And then it was so well received, we decided to then go to the Latin America one, and I hired a company in Latin America that did the same thing for me, posting in Spanish. So that's how we grew our Spanish to be, we have ACI Siempre Contigo now, which we have over 100 of our titles dubbed into Spanish, and we have 45 dubbed into Portuguese. But now, it's not that I don't love those companies, I do, but I can do all that now, posting and everything through AI.
Yeah.
AI will even take my trailers and bring it down to exactly the minute it needs for Facebook, and we'll put the artwork together and send it out. So
Uh,
it's all more mechanical now, and
yeah.
it saved me a lot of money now.
Yeah. Yeah. That outsourcing does that.
Yeah. So,
So what's
because
your
right now to make the money, it's really hard. I mean, I know
yeah,
everybody thinks that we're
a lot.
making
Yeah, because there's a lot of content getting uploaded every day.
every week. And at the same time, when I used to make movies, we used to get 20% on signature and we'd get 80% when we deliver it.
Yeah.
So you could rotate the monies. Now, if you're not getting a channel or somebody to give you the most monies, you're putting it on the platforms. And now it's taking you almost 2 years to get that money back, and you're paying interest reserve and everything else on it to
Yes.
recover your costs. So it takes a while.
Because we even had that issue when we set up our streaming on the website, and then there was
Mhm.
conflict with YouTube, and then we had to relaunch the channel and then put back some of the old all of our content is not even up right now. And it's been about 2 years, and we're just getting back the traction what we had beforehand. Because the channel and everything was much bigger, but COVID came around
You
and
got the strikes. You got
yeah,
strikes because of the YouTube. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the problem too, is making sure you don't get the strikes. And I don't know what kind of content do you have? Do you have black content?
yeah. We had
The
because
the, the producers,
our
yeah, but a
platform,
lot, yeah,
the
the problem I've noticed, and it's not, I won't blame the black people. Nobody taught them to do, for starters, M&E tracks. Nobody taught them that they were going to be selling it to another country. They just thought they sold the United States. Why
yeah,
would I need an M&E track? So now I'm helping a lot of them get M&E tracks at a cost so they can go international. Helping them get the music rights, because some of them just think, oh, I'm going to get it for the United States, but then they don't get the world when you're trying to sell it. So they just need to be, they're just learning. So
yeah,
a lot of my producers are, now
yeah,
they're sophisticated and they know this stuff.
yeah. It's a learning process.
It is.
But as you said, as long as you're willing to accept the change, what's
Mhm.
coming, what always comes to the industry, you'll survive.
Yes, you got to be able to be agile, move here, and then you jump over the side, whatever it is.
Like
Yes,
gymnastics.
yes, it is.
So, what's your advice for aspiring filmmakers?
I think right now it is really niche. It's a
Yeah,
niche. And before you make, because I go to universities and I talk to the kids there too, and I can try to tell them who's going to be looking at your product. I mean, if you're going to make this movie,
yeah,
who do you think is going to watch it? Well, they go, well, I got this star and this, and they're going to go out. I'm like, no. How are you going to bring people to the screen? Do you know how to get to your customers? Do you know how to get to them? And don't depend on the channel to do it for you. You have to know through social media. How would you got to be more creative, is what I'm saying. And the second thing is really know what that channel is and what their formula is. Because if you go to make something and it doesn't fall into what that channel is,
yeah.
or you make something a little different, you're not selling it. You're not selling it. It's the same formula.
Makes sense.
So just really study. And I'll give you a small story.
All
When
right.
I made those 3 movies for Up TV,
Yeah,
Hallmark's calling me now all the time. Chevonne, please, I want an Amish because they did so well. I'm right to the 7.4. So they're like saying, Chevonne, can you give me something? So I
yeah,
sent them an Amish script, and they're all excited. And then all of a sudden, crickets. Nothing. They're not even calling me back. I don't know what's going on. So all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm watching Hallmarks 24/7. I'm trying to go, okay, by this page, I got this. Yes, that's the formula. I got this page, she leaves, or the boyfriend comes into town, and I'm writing the notes. Yes. I got it. I did it. Why aren't they calling me back? Why aren't they calling me back? And then I stopped and I looked. The main advertiser for Hallmark was Petco, and I did not have a dog in my script. So all of a sudden, I put a small little scene of them flying astray. They bring it home, they feed it dog food, and they take it to the pound, and that's it. And they called me.
Yeah.
And I said, why didn't you just call me and tell me? No, no, no. If you want to work for our channel, you have to know what we want.
Well, yeah, that shows it right there.
Yeah. And it's not just them, it's all of them. If
Yeah.
you want to work or want to be with that channel, or you think it, you better know them backwards and forwards.
That's a really good tip. Yeah.
Okay. That's my number one sentence.
Yeah. So is there anything else you want the people to know about yourself that they don't know?
Let's see. I made 8 Amish movies, and I'm going to continue making another. I have a series, another Amish books of 30 from Guidepost. So we're
Yeah.
going to start on the first one. So I'm going to be another Amish queen again, and we're going to be doing another Latin one. We're trying to do a little. I tried putting in my movies, not just. I try to make something feel good, so I try to put a little bit of charity into
Yeah.
my movies. So we did Habitat for Humanity one time. We did the LeBron James Inner City Kids. And now I got one with the Mercy ships in Africa.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a whole script on using the Mercy ship, which are these beautiful ships that go in and do these surgeries on these kids. They don't get doctors, and changes their life. And we're not doing a documentary. We're going to do a romance one.
Yeah.
We're going to have the story of the girl and meeting this wonderful doctor, and he's got to save this one little boy, and how the surgery changes his whole life. And Mercy Ship's really excited about it, so we're excited about that too.
That's different. Well,
So those are things. And anybody, I do take interns. You don't have to live in Los Angeles. If anybody wants to apply, we
Yeah.
do interns through virtual. I have people in Italy. I have people in Colombia that work for me. So I love to teach, and anybody, or if anybody's making a movie, you can reach me at my email and ask me to send me an outline. Don't send me scripts. Send me outlines, and I'll tell you if you're in the right direction or not.
okay.
I've been doing this for a long time, and I love what I do. I mean, I get up every morning, even though it's been 34 years, so excited. Everything we're learning something new every day. That's what I love about it. It's not the same. And just keep going with what we can do.
Okay.
All right.
All right.